The Alpha Podcast with your hosts from LarsonPress.com, Adrian Larsen, and from TMNutrition.net, Tony Montgomery.
Hey, this is Adrian with the Alpha Podcast. Today, I drove out to bumfuck Egypt, Everett, Washington, and got to train at Ego Gym. This is the second time I've been up here. The first time I was up here, you guys were kind of just getting going.
Yeah.
So there were only a handful of things in the gym, and now it's been, gosh, I don't know.
It's October, so
6, 7 months, 8 months?
Whatever it's been, yeah.
8 months or so?
Yeah.
You guys had just opened when I showed up.
We opened in July, like a soft opening, then we did our grand opening in September of last year.
And then you held a meet in January.
Yeah, we did a meet in January.
And
when you were here, we didn't really have anything.
Yeah.
Was the carpet even laid?
No, there was no carpet.
Yeah, it was like concrete.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't even think that I think you only had one squat rack, the upright.
Yeah, well, we had the two cages.
Yeah.
That's all we had, yeah.
And the bicycles. You didn't have those.
Yeah, that's all new.
So, talk to me. What's going on with your lifting right now? What do you got coming up?
So I'm getting ready for Conquer the Bar out in Linden, so near Bellingham, and so that's May 14th at Flex Gym. So shout out to Rob and his team for putting that on. So I think we're 4 weeks out now, and so I'll do that, and then my wife is due in August, so we'll have a little boy, and so that's gonna put my lifting this year on hold. So I think it's just gonna be shenanigans after that.
Yeah.
So
Time to check it out.
Trying to be cool like some of the other guys like Chris Duffy stand up for me with the single arm pulls and like. Try to get up to a 405 pin press that we were doing today, and just shenanigans. So
Fun stuff.
Yeah, fun stuff. Like try to keep it light.
You plan on holding any more meets in the gym?
We want to, but again, with Linda being due in August, it's going to be hard to do it on my own. So we were looking at a couple different ones. I know there's a couple of sanctions or federations that are looking for a place, and so we might reach out to them and see if they'd be interested in doing it here. Just because if they do it, it'll kind of take the stress off of me. I can just kind of be the gym. Instead of having actually hosted it. So we're definitely going to do another one next year. It's just this year's kind of...
You kind of realize when you start putting these on how much work actually goes into them.
Yes.
It's not like a 2-weekend deal,
Seriously, I mean, I had Roger Baker in my corner, and he's been running meets out in Kennewick for a while, so he helped me out a lot. And it's just, even partially doing it on my own, I realized it's a lot of work. Yeah, so we kind of learned a lot from the first one. We only did a push-pull, so it was really short. But it still was like a lot of work to put on. So I just appreciate the promoter so much more now, being on that side of it. Before I was like, what the hell, you're on food? Like, what the hell, like, why is it taking so long? And you put one on and you're like, holy smokes, I didn't realize how tough it was. So
I always get, whenever I put on a meet, most of the meets I put on are for charity, but the ones I do put on, like I always get anxiety the night before because like making sure the rosters are put together, make sure all the you have enough trophies. I mean, like there's so much that goes into it that you don't really think about until you have to have it dialed in. It's definitely like a sleepless night those like couple nights before. I mean, I was even stressed out about just doing weigh-ins. Like, I'm gonna screw this up somehow. So it was learned a lot. It was awesome. I definitely want to do another one. It's just we gotta make sure that we plan. I just need help. Travis, what do you got coming up?
I got summer strength course in Roger Baker's gym in August. Basically right now just doing hypertrophy. Hanging out.
A little bit off season.
Yeah.
So you're getting married here pretty soon, right?
I'll be married in February to my girlfriend Katie. So after this meet, wedding plan.
No more meat prepping.
No more meat prep,
How does she do with all the training and stuff you have going on?
I mean, she's doing the same meet Lee's doing in May, so she gets it. I mean, she's competed and figure and everything, so she knows what it's like.
She understands the dedication that goes into it.
Definitely,
yeah. That's really good. Let's talk about when you opened up Ego. You were super successful prior to opening up the gym. You kind of had a very stable career. Making good money, and you jumped ship to own a gym. What was kind of the thought behind that? What got the ball?
If you would ask me when I was like, in high school, are you going to own a gym someday? There's no way in hell I would have ever said that. I mean, I was, I played football and stuff, and I kind of worked out, but it wasn't until like Travis and I were like getting more into it, competing in bodybuilding and all that, and then I just enjoyed being in the gym. So for me, it was like kind of a later dream in life. So to leave, I was working at Costco. I was in the military, and then I went back to Costco and worked my way in the corporate office. And like you said, I was on my way to a pretty successful career. It was a very stable job, and Costco was great to me, but it was really boring. Sat at a desk, talked to vendors, trying to act cool, buying stuff like I was saving the world or something. But end of the day, it was just like these monitors. I'm staring at them all day, and they're like sucking the life out of me.
Right.
And I look forward more to my time in the gym.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought, why not? Let's see. I know I'm pretty business savvy, because Costco School of Business. I mean, you learn a lot, and I figured if I'm going to do it now would be the time, and not later, because I don't want to have regrets. And so I figured we had something good going on with the Ego brand. We created the clothing line, and people liked it, and I thought, why not? Let's try it.
Yeah.
So it really it's just more of a fuck it, let's just go.
How was the wife of the transition? Because I think a lot of people forget how much goes into leaving a career. You got benefits, you're leaving, a retirement, you're leaving, that stable paycheck.
Right.
How was she when you first brought it up to her? Like, hey, babe, listen,
she was really, really supportive.
Yeah?
Yeah, extremely, because I love my wife because she just wants me to be happy. And there's multiple reasons why I love my wife, so maybe that's not the only reason.
Yeah. Let's make that super
clear. I love you for a lot of reasons, but the biggest thing, she's super supportive, and she knew that I wasn't happy, completely happy working at Costco. I mean, I liked my job, it was fun, but it wasn't satisfying. And so she just wanted me to be happy, and so she was really, really supportive, and she's got a great job, and so we knew that we were going to be okay. Obviously we missed that paycheck, however, we're doing, she knows that I'm doing what I want to do.
Right. And
so, and that's really what she wanted,
So in comparison to what you're working, probably a 40-hour work week to here, what do you think you're working a week here?
Probably really about the same.
Really?
I was working at Costco, it was probably closer to like 50 hours a week, not including the commute, because I lived in Boston, the corporate office is in Issaquah, so traffic could be shitty. But here, it's so sporadic. Some days I come in at 8 o'clock in the morning, and I'll be here till maybe the afternoon, then come back later in the evening. So it's kind of sporadic, but I'm 7 days a week I'm here. Sometimes
some dumb dick wants to train at 9 in the morning and
even
shows up late.
Right, this guy. But the blessing is that when we put the key fob system in, so we're semi-private, and so anybody who's new, they'll reach out via Facebook, whatever, and we'll be here for that. But most of the members, man, they just come and go as they please, and I don't really need to be here. They're all really cool. We're like right around 80 members, they all know what's up. I mean,
same kind of goals mostly, maybe the same sport, but at least goal driven.
Exactly. So we've been really picky about who we, I don't want to say let in the gym, kind of.
Yeah.
One
of the cool things I noticed when I came in, I went into the bathroom and changed, and I saw this post up on the wall that said, first it says, if you want a good time, call this number, which I like that.
Shout out to Big A. Yeah. I like Kim, love you, brother. That's for you.
But then on the wall it said, this bathroom isn't for posing. And I think that's fun. I mean, we don't have to go into the story, call somebody out, but I think it's cool that so many gym owners are afraid of offending people or putting something on there. I want more members instead of, more serious people. But to put something up there like that, it's like, hey man, your fucking abs blow. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
This isn't for posing. This isn't an Instagram studio.
Yeah.
Right.
Not one bathroom.
Yeah. Seriously. You're taking 20 minutes to get seriously, man. PowerPoints. Come on, man. Yeah, and that's kind of what we wanted to set that precedence early. I'm definitely a very blunt person.
Yeah.
I don't care if I offend people. I mean, I care to a certain degree, but realistically, all we do is lift weights, and if you're going to get drama or be upset about it, whatever, we're just lifting weights.
Yeah.
Really. And so we don't want drama in here. We've had a couple bro lifters come through, they made their exit pretty quickly. Might have been forced, but whatever. We want people to get along and be cool, because like I said, at the end of the day, we're just lifting weights.
One of the things I kind of always preach to the people I train with is, and I think this goes for anywhere, when you start training with people, you might be the reason why they are successful, right? It might just be your demeanor. Right. It might be how much hype you bring that day. It might be, how hard you're pushing yourself. You might be the cause for that person to be successful or not.
Right.
And I think having a place like this, especially where just members can come in, get their little key card access, come in, that's super important, because you have other members that might be having some shit going on in their life where they're not there, but then they see somebody come in that's super driven and is working their ass off, and maybe that's what's just going to help flip them over,
Right.
So I think it's really important to try to establish that with everybody. So with everybody I train with on a regular basis, that's what I tell them is, you might be the reason today that I'll be successful or not. And that's pretty powerful.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, and that's kind of what we wanted to create with Ego, because one, we've all started somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
So we wanted, like, especially new lifters and young athletes, like, that's kind of our focus. We want them to feel comfortable. Like, we want them to learn and not be intimidated by the bigger guys, the guys who've been lifting forever. We want everybody to be, like, approachable and helpful. And that's kind of why we named our gym Ego, to kind of make fun of it and take the ego out of it, really. So we know that it can be, especially as a young lifter, like, pretty intimidating to walk into a gym, especially something like this where guys are pulling 6, 7 plates, squatting big, benching big. But we're all here to, like, help.
Right.
And that's kind of the atmosphere that we want. So anybody who, like, brings a demeanor and that's, like, not that way, get out of here.
It's not gonna work.
Yeah, it's not gonna work out for us. Yeah, we're all pretty helpful. So
It's funny. So when I was here in October, you gave me the shirt, and I wear it all the time in the gym, right?
Yeah.
And so everybody kind of they kind of make fun of me. They're like, "Oh, ego, huh? You got a big ego." So I changed it. And I said, "No, it's E60." And you know how many people fell for that shit? It says ego, but they look at it like, "Oh, E60. Oh, okay." Some sports center shit.
30 for 30.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
What do you think has been like the biggest challenge with opening up your own gym? I mean, I assume that there's probably a handful of challenges, but what do you think has been like the biggest hurdle for you?
I think initially it was the marketing side of it.
Mm-hmm.
We project numbers and all that. We do analysis and whatnot, but I think the hardest part is, like, getting out to the masses without, like, breaking your budget.
Yeah.
I mean, thank God for Instagram, Facebook, Yelp, Google. Like, we've gotten a lot of members from just that aspect. But the marketing is definitely the toughest, and we kind of wanted to keep it a little bit like that. But at the same time, like, because we were so new, like, we're not established, we're not a West Side gym or an elite FTS gym, But we wanted to kind of have that same demeanor.
Yeah.
So that's kind of been a big challenge, is, like, being semi-private and kind of off the map and kind of hidden, but at the same time, we try to bring members in.
Yeah.
So for us, that's, like, been the biggest challenge, I think. And just being in this area, like, it's not the most affluent area, so trying to get the right pricing.
Sure.
Not overprice it so people can't afford it.
Right.
We got a lot of
not
young
a
guys.
CrossFit gym.
Yeah. And we got a lot of young guys that are college students. So I mean, I remember being in school. You're broke.
Just barely eating top ramen.
Seriously, right? When kids are coming in with their PB and J and it's their pre-workout meal, and you're like, I can't
feel bad for you.
Can't rob you. And even though, like, we're a specialty gym, we could charge a little bit more than the average gym. It's like trying to find that right pricing. So those two, I think, have been the biggest for me. Is like,
I think one things you've done that's been super positive is leaving people with, like, a positive vibe when they leave here. Like Dan and Tasha.
Yeah.
I mean, they've said so many great things about the gym and you guys as people.
Cool.
And so, like, they talk about that stuff. And they talk about it to other lifters, and so I mean, that was like the whole purpose of coming up here in October. Was like, I want to check this gym out. They say a lot of good stuff about it. And I think you guys have built that kind of reputation up in this area where you're going to draw in those kind of lifters and high quality people to come in and shit. I drove 3 hours just to
appreciate it.
Yeah,
absolutely, man. Yeah, it's funny because, like, we're always trying to get our buddy Alan out here. So now we got Adrian who comes out 3 hours, and Alan lives like an hour away.
It's your turn, Alan.
Come on, Alan. That's cool. I'm glad that vibe's out there because that's kind of what we want. We don't, even though, again, our name's Ego. Yeah. But we want to, we stay humble. At least we try to.
Yeah, I think that's the interesting thing, is approaching some of those, like, with your names. Like when I kind of bring up, like, the skip leg day thing, is just fucking hit it head on.
Right.
Don't jump around it and come up with, like, the elite iron club or whatever. You know what I mean? Like some just trendy name, coming up with something that's unique.
Right.
And saying, hey, you're going to leave your ego at the door because we're all here to help each other.
Right. Yeah.
You just
part of our schools.
Yeah. So one of the things I've really paid a lot of attention to lately is the amount of women that break all-time records.
Right.
And it seems like every weekend, some crazy ass number gets floated out there.
Right.
And it could be a squat, bench, or deadlift. Like I saw a girl, I don't know, 3 or 4 weeks ago that benched like 305 raw. Like,
that's making some dudes feel bad, right?
Yeah, who does that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What do you think has happened in this sport where people can, when I used to go to the gym, when a girl would bench 135, I'd be like, oh, that's good. That's good. Legit.
Yeah.
But we're seeing women bench 200, 300. There's some geared lifters benching closer to 400.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Like, how is this happening?
You pay attention to social media. You're a social media guy. Like, I see a lot more now with just even on Instagram, like Girls Who Power Lift is one of the pages. There's like a bunch of them now. I think at least my perspective is the whole fit is the new skinny type movement. I'm thinking girls are kind of getting away from that lifting is manly.
Right.
And there's some slow transition to that. And then, like, at least for my wife, when she started lifting, like, all of a sudden it was, when she's like, you know, benching whatever, or when she was squatting like 200 plus, she got excited. Because she's like, man, I feel strong. Like, I just feel strong. And so I feel like girls get a little more empowered than even guys do.
Sure.
You know, and all of a sudden they're putting bigger numbers up and they get more excited.
You think any of it has to do with, like, seeing the progress, right? Like, as you start lifting for years after years after years, you're making slow progress every year.
Right.
You know, if you make a 5 or 10 pound jump every year, you're pretty happy
stoked.
with that.
Yeah.
Women typically are always watching the progress on a scale or the way their clothes are fitting, but then they come into the gym and they see progress. They see progress immediately. You think that has a little bit to do with it?
Absolutely,
where
man.
they see something and they're like, oh man, this is actually going really well.
Well, you're probably that way too when you first started lifting. All of a sudden you're making like 15, 20 pound jumps on your bench. You're like, holy shit.
I remember years making like 80 pound jumps.
Right.
And you're like, oh, this is good.
Yeah.
It's going to happen the rest of my life. I'm going to be a 2,000 pound bench.
Yeah. I think, at least with women, and they're seeing a lot more women lifting now. So I feel like it's like kind of like the, I don't want to say flop, but kind of like you start seeing more people do it, more girls do it. Like we've got, I don't know, probably a handful of girls now. Like when we first started, it was like Linda and Katie.
Yeah.
You know, his fiance and then my wife. And now we got like, you know, this girl, Natalie, she's competing. I trained this other girl, Darian. She's brand new to lifting, but, you know, I can see her having ambitions to really get after it.
Yeah.
So we're starting to see a few more girls start coming in. And so I think it's like once they see a couple lifting, they're like, oh, shit, the girls do this.
Yeah.
That's, you know, then they tell their friends about it.
What's insane is I remember when I first started lifting 20 years ago, I'd go to a meet and there'd be like 3 women lifting total.
Right.
I went to Chris Duffin's meet yesterday, and they had to have an entire day for women.
Dedicated women.
Yeah.
Like 76 women or something like that? Yeah.
And there was that meet in Cincinnati just yesterday too.
Oh, yeah, there's the one that you went to? Yeah.
It's insane. It's crazy how much it's grown, you know, and I don't know if it's maybe a little bit of popularity from CrossFit and women just being in the gym
That's
more.
the point, yeah.
What all it entailed? Maybe just women in general just saying, you know, fuck the treadmill and I'm gonna start lifting weights, you know.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Could be, man.
Yeah,
It's like, I mean, what gave it Katie ambition was just more like hanging out with you.
There's just more. She went to a meet and saw girls that weren't all big and bulky.
Yeah.
Powerlifting.
Right.
And she's like, okay.
They're like 132 pounds,
Yeah,
123 pounds.
Yeah.
Her size.
They don't look like Hungarian shot putters.
Right.
Yeah. That's a good point, man.
It's insane. So do you think, kind of going further into this, like year after year, there's just gonna be more like women-only meets?
I can see it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the other thing that'd be interesting is to start. One is I think the animal cage should incorporate a section of the day to women lifting.
Yeah.
I know they've kind of talked about it the last few years.
They did the deadlift thing this year.
Yeah. I think it'd be good to have some phenomenal women lifters go in there and just get a little bit of the publicity that they deserve.
Yeah.
But then also, I think women getting paid at the meets. You know, like Gracie's paying out to some women.
Yeah.
I think Sean with the hardcore powerlifting is going to meet, and he's going to be paying out to some women. Okay. It's not as much as the men, but I think it needs to get to that spot where they make as much. You know, especially if they're breaking all-time records. Like, I think in comparison, if you took guys that are breaking all-time records, it's like 3-1 for girls.
For sure. Yeah. Because to bring up Gracie V, man, I saw some of her stuff on Instagram, and she's killing it right now. Like her over's like 4 something.
461.
461 on squat. Good God. Yeah. So
You go down
I
there
think
and
you're
train.
right, man.
Maybe it's something down there in the water.
Cali,
Something.
man. Yeah, it's super competitive.
You're home.
My home. That's right. Hometown.
So, RPS is having a meet next weekend.
This weekend.
It's coming up.
This coming, yeah.
You guys follow any of that? You said Jimmy's going to lift there.
Jimmy's going to lift there. I'm sorry, man. TNT, Tiny and Tough. He's going to lift there. I can't remember your first name, bro. But he's going to lift there against Richard Hawthorne. They're
the 132.
132 guys, yeah.
You know Richard Hawthorne cut his hair.
Yes.
I saw, man.
I didn't recognize
something about, he said, like, letting go of the pass or something. It was cool.
Yeah.
It was a cool post, but yeah, it's crazy. He looked totally different.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. I didn't recognize him either.
I think you guys have any ambition of going down to one of those meets? Down to one of Gracie's meets?
I'm not cool enough yet, dude.
No? You got
No.
money getting paid out and a bunch of good
That'd be
lifters down
so
there.
fun, dude, but I want to be able to compete.
Yeah.
I'm not quite there yet. Yeah.
You're getting there.
Not yet.
What about your podcast? Are you still doing a podcast?
We want to, yeah. We want to start doing some more videos. It just kind of got put on the back burner with like training for the meet.
Yeah.
I was actually starting to train for the February meet, and then we had to move and we got pregnant, so like I got put on the back burner. So now I'm competing in May. So we'll definitely get back at it. I think after this meet, I'll start concentrating more on doing some more ego podcasts.
Getting pregnant takes some work.
Dude. 2-3
I like how you throw that in there like,
it was work, man. My poor wife.
Well, I mean,
hey,
you did all the hard work, right?
I had a good time, so it's all good.
Right. End result's the same.
Hey, you know?
Well, I appreciate you guys letting me come out here.
Dude, thanks
train
for
at
coming
the
up,
gym.
man. Really appreciate it.
It's a lot of fun. I really like coming out here.
Yeah, we love having you.
I need to get you guys down to Portland.
Hell yeah.
Show you guys a little bit of the Portland scene and
for sure.
go train at Chris's gym.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Make fun of how fat he is.
What's he like, 265?
Weighs as much as me, but he's shredded.
He's like 5'9", whatever he is.
He is pretty lean.
Yeah, real fat.
But, yeah, it's
Cool.
good. It'll be fun.
Yeah, it'd be fun to
good
get down
times
there.
man.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate it, guys.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks for
Where can everybody find you on social media?
So Instagram, I'm just Lee Doherty the Third. So on Facebook, just Lee Doherty the Third or
Lee the Third?
Ego. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. And then Ego Strength and Performance on Facebook is our page. Yeah.
Merchgirlovercome.com.
Yeah.
What about you?
Facebook, Travis Doherty. Instagram, Uncle Travie.
Uncle Trav?
Uncle Trav.
Oh, shit. I feel like you need to explain this.
No, we can't
I'm
talk
engaged.
about
I can't talk about that.
She's not going to watch this.
She will.
We'll just leave it at
Now
that.
we talk about this now. Great. It's in trouble now.
Great. Scratch. I'll delete that. All right, guys. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, appreciate it.